Hello everybody, this is Johns Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-minute histories videos. And today I am high atop Reservoir Hill, and we're going to talk about the building behind me, the Norwegian Seaman's home. This is going to be a really great video. Some of you may know this building as the Birkhead House or the Birkhead Bond House, or its original name, Mount Royal. You can call it whatever you want. You can also buy it. That's right, this building is for sale. It's owned by the Baltimore City government, and they're after a year or more of planning with the residents around here, they're offering it up for sale. It's going to be a great video because I'm going to be joined in just a second by two gentlemen, Jackson Gilman Forlini, who's a preservation officer with the city, and then Comptroller Bill Henry, who's selling the building. All right, it's the city selling the building, but it's Comptroller's office that's in charge of it. Before I turn it over though, let me just say a few words and get us going. This was built in 1792 by a physician named Solomon Birkhead. And we don't know a whole lot about Solomon, but this was his summer retreat. It is high on a hill, great for breezes, with a lawn sloping down into the Jones Falls, and he used it as a summer home. We do know he had a daughter, Christina, and Christina inherited the property when Dad dies. She marries a gentleman named Bond. We're not exactly sure which Bond she marries, but for our story, it kind of doesn't matter. What does matter is they have a son named Hugh Lennox Bond. And if you know Lennox Street in Reservoir Hill, that's where the Lennox comes from. Incidentally, Mount Royal Avenue comes from Mount Royal, the original name here. So now we've got all of our names, Mount Royal and Birkhead Bond. But regardless, Hugh Lennox Bond is kind of a historical character. If you know your American history, he was one of the leaders of Baltimore's Know Nothing Party, maybe best known today as staunchly anti-immigrant, but he was also progressive in other ways. He was a staunch abolitionist and a judge. As judge during the Civil War, he threw Mayor Thomas Swan's police commissioner into jail for being too pro-South, and on sort of the flip side of the coin, he freed 75 people who were put in jail for flying the Union flag. So he was a staunch Unionist. He kept the property in the family and passed it to his son, also Hugh Lennox Bond, who died tragically at an early age. And in 1922, in his will, he gave it over to the Quaker meeting. The Quakers used it for a number of years as an old folks home, a home for the aged. But in 1952, they decided they needed to sell it, and they sold it to none other than the Norwegian government. I am going to stop there and let Jackson Gilman Forlini tell us why in the world the Norwegian government was buying a 1792 summer home in Baltimore. Jackson, we're all yours.
Thanks, Johns. My name is Jackson Gilman Forlini, and I'm the Historic Preservation Officer with the Baltimore City Department of General Services, where I have the pleasure and the honor of working with some of Baltimore's interesting architectural treasures. The building behind me, as John's mentioned, has a long and venerable 19th century history, but the 20th century history is also equally interesting. In 1957, the Norwegian government purchased this home and converted it into a kind of boarding house for Norwegian sailors who were stopping off into the port of Baltimore. Why Norway? Well, apparently at the time, Norway had the most amount of traffic coming in and out of the port, and the Norwegian government was very concerned about the upstanding morals of their sailors, and they were a little worried about what they would call the houses of ill repute down along the inner harbor and along the port. And so they would send the sailors up here where they could get a warm bed and a home-cooked Norwegian meal. And at its peak, this building housed up to 55 sailors for $3 a night, and they could be taken around to see all the different sites around Baltimore. And then, in 1966, the Norwegian government gave this up and sold the building to Peter Angelos, who we now know as the owner of the Baltimore Orioles. Angelos proposed tearing the building down and putting a high-rise apartment building on this site, but the plans never came to fruition, in part because the neighbors rallied around saving the building because of its historic significance. And so, in the early 1970s, the city of Baltimore purchased the property with the intent on making it a multi-purpose center. And under then Mayor William Donald Schaefer, the city obtained federal funds from HUD through the Model Cities program and renovated and rehabilitated the property into a multi-purpose center, which included a branch of the Enoch Pratt Free Library, as well as a daycare center and other community activities. And The building remained as a city services building until only a few years ago when the last occupant moved out, and has been vacant ever since. And like a cat, this building has 9 lives because we are not giving up on seeing it put to a good use. It is up for sale, and with that I will turn it over to Comptroller Bill Henry, who will talk about this exciting opportunity for anyone interested in renewing this building once again.
Thanks, Jackson and Johns. Hi, I'm Bill Henry. Today, I'm pleased to be here in the video for this great historic house. As City Comptroller, I'm responsible for the Department of Real Estate, and the Department of Real Estate is responsible for buying, selling, and leasing city property. The Department of Real Estate handles lots of buildings, but this one is really special. I used to be on the city's Commission for Historical and Architectural Preservation, and when I was, if a building like this had come before us, we would have jumped at the opportunity to see it preserved as best as it could be. And that's where we're headed here. We've worked with the community in Reservoir Hill over the last year to develop a plan to make sure that we sell this property to someone who is not only going to preserve its historic aspects, but also use the building and grounds in a way that will continue to revitalize Reservoir Hill itself. Now, Johns is going to put up some information at the end of this video, and that information will be additional details for people who want to know more about the building, but also information about people who want to know more about the city's request for offers to purchase the building. And that's it. I want to thank everybody, especially here in Reservoir Hill, who worked with us on the plan, but also all of you who are watching at home. On behalf of the Department of Real Estate, we appreciate your willingness to spread the word about this opportunity, which is going to be a great one for someone who is willing to put together just the right community-friendly vision to see this 230-year-old summer mansion restored to its former glory. Have a good one. Thanks, and enjoy your week.